What's up, guys? Welcome back to So Many Parks, So Little Time, or as I like to call it, hold on. Hey Ruben, can you help me out?
Ja hoor, scheepsvaartmaatschappij Voltas.
Thanks, Ruben.
Here you go.
So, we have made it. It is our final day in Europe, and we are ending it out on a bang. We are at Walibi Holland in the Netherlands. Now, just like Walibi Belgium, this was a former Six Flags theme park, so there are definitely traces of that corporate American theme park around, but again, just like Walibi Belgium, it's supposed to have some of that European charm that goes with it as well. But also, just like Six Flags, it is home to several thrill rides, including some that we're highly anticipating, including the Goliath Intimate Megacoaster, Untamed RMC Coaster, Lost Gravity, a very unique Mack Big Dipper coaster, and then just all the sights and sounds of this really revered park. So it's slightly wet right now, but I think the weather is supposed to clear up a little bit. Overall, this has just been a phenomenal trip so far, and even though it's coming to an end, we're going to end it out on a bang. So let's go check out Walibi Holland. So Anthony really likes this park aesthetic, but I don't know, I don't think it works for me. I think it's way too loud, way too busy, way too chaotic, which, to be fair, that's exactly what Anthony says he loves about it. I can absolutely see it, but no, it just does not work for me. I do like the nice touches to the Netherlands, so like European cars and the bicycles. Otherwise, man, what did this park do to themselves?
Yo guys.
Oh yeah.
It's always pizza.
Let op, sluit alleen je riem en laat de beugel open. Een medewerker zal de beugel sluiten. Attention, fasten only your seatbelt and...
So, Untamed was the very first RMC, or Rocky Mountain Construction, wood-to-steel hybrid conversion of a roller coaster in Europe. This ride was previously Robin Hood, which was made by Vekoma, and then it was transformed into Untamed, where it still remains the only wood-to-steel conversion in Europe. But RMC was able to really take their chops to this coaster. A lot of people, when the ride was first being built, said that the ride did not have a layout that RMC would have a lot to work with, but I disagree. I think they did a fantastic job. This ride packs in airtime. It feels like you are out of your seat for more than half of the ride. There's an absurd quantity of airtime, and while the airtime on Zadra is a lot more sustained, this one is definitely more rapid-fire pops. It's all ejector, and it all slams you into your restraint, and it's all awesome. This ride also holds the record currently for having the most inversions on any RMC with 5. Debatably 5. I also like how they incorporated elements of the old ride into the queue. As for how I would rank it amongst other RMCs, I'm really not too sure. Anthony and I both agree that it rides quite a bit like Storm Chaser, but overall it just feels like its own animal. Definitely recommend Untamed if you're here. I'm glad we got to go on this on our final day of the trip.
Dead unicorn.
Dead unicorn.
Lost Gravity was the prototype Big Dipper model from Mack Rides. It's sort of their take on SNS's El Loco, but just done to their own style and their own weirdness. This ride features some crazy elements, including one of the most wicked first drops I've been on, some ejector airtime moments, and then some hang time inversions as well. It's all in this very compact and wacky layout. Right now there's only 2 in the world, with a 3rd one on its way to Europa Park next year, but I cannot wait to see what Mack Rides does with this model. They're not really marketable, but Walibi Holland did a really good job of making this ride just take advantage of its weirdness by just sort of making the outlying area just as weird too. The name Lost Gravity is super fitting, and yeah, it's just a really, really great ride. Especially with the bumping music.
I wish it went up though.
Let me go shut it. Is that cool?
Vedere che faccio gli ultimi barchi io solo. Il muro faccio il muro in questo.
Goliath geweest.
Wow.
So Goliath is early 2000s Intamin awesomeness. The ride sort of reminds me of a smaller version of what is now Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England, but I grew up riding it as Superman Ride of Steel. It's a very smooth coaster with some very parabolic but aggressive airtime hills, especially towards the end of the ride. While it's not the tallest or the fastest Intamin mega coaster, I mean, it still has a lot of speed, and those airtime hills do not mess around. And then even those helices, they give some forces, not too much to make the ride uncomfortable or unrideable, but just enough to make it fun. And then of course the ride has the traditional Intamin first generation T-bar restraints, which I love, and I miss the ones on Superman. And then those end bunny hills, those are absolutely fantastic. Those launch you out of your seat. Overall, I found the ride to be slightly better in the front row because you get launched into that first ejector airtime hill, but really any seat on the ride, you're gonna have a fantastic time. That's I think you still go through this even with Vaseline. Dial F for murder.
Buiten en dan wordt het doorgaan.
Goliath.
If Xpress goes right now, that would be perfect. Dude, I remember all of this from Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I also remember there was a Wild Mouse somewhere, but I don't remember where that went though. Yeah, this park has a nice aesthetic. This park has a nice greenery and green feel to it. It also has a very eccentric, eclectic feel too. So, Speed of Sound is the park's remixed boomerang. It was the Jolly Rancher remix before Jolly Rancher remixed. So what they did was they took their old and beat up boomerang, slapped new trains on it, gave it a pumping soundtrack, and really just went all out on the colors and painting and the artwork inside the station. The end result is a ride that looks cool and sounds cool, but the ride still runs like a rough Vekoma boomerang. True, you have the new trains with the best restraints, so you don't have any head banging, but yeah, the ride still just rumbles and shakes throughout the course, and you can really feel the jerky transitions on this coaster. Even still, the ride is a massive improvement over other boomerangs on this trip, particularly the one at Walibi, Belgium. So yeah, overall, net positive. Good for Speed of Sound. Not sure if it's the best boomerang in the world, but it's fine. So if this park really wants its own unique aesthetic and feel, they've certainly got it. It looks like a lot of their looks border on cartoonish, but sort of go in the sort of abstract and loud perspective. Sometimes loud is literal, as in like music and speakers here. So earlier today there were a bunch of school groups, and so there were lots and lots of middle schoolers and high schoolers, but not a lot of families with kids. So I'm walking through the kids area for the first time, and it is completely deserted. It's actually kind of creepy.
I'm not even ready. Oh, next train. And you have the noise in the... Here, hold on, I need to make this right. Got 16. Oh, like here?
This park really embraces just how weird it is.
Special delivery! Pain!
So following the success of the B&M Invert in 1992, Vekoma wanted to enter into the inverted roller coaster market, and in 1994 they did with Condor. This was the very first Vekoma suspended looping roller coaster. It's a compact inverted roller coaster, meant to provide the thrills of a B&M Invert, but in a much more compact area and at a much lower price. As such, this model, the SLC, has become revered as one of the worst roller coaster models in history. The coasters frequently make the bottom of people's favorite roller coaster lists, and yeah, they're just rough, painful roller coasters. And so as such, we just had to pay our disrespects to the original Condor. And after riding it yeah, tear this thing down. I don't care if it's history or not, this thing was really bad. Funny thing is, it has the brand new Vekoma trains with the vest restraints, but even with those restraints, the ride is still very shaky and very painful. You don't get the head banging, thank goodness, but the trains just shake and rattle way too much. But yeah, that was the fourth Vekoma SLC on this trip, and boy am I glad that we're done with these, at least for this trip. So a couple thoughts on this park. First of all, just like Toverland, this day started off very, very poorly. We actually almost didn't make it into the park. Now, this was mostly our fault because we didn't do our proper research, but the ticket system here is very different from all the other tickets that we've done, both in US parks as well as parks here in Europe. Basically, you have to buy a ticket for a specific day. You can buy an undated ticket, but then you have to change the ticket to a specific day. And on the day that we had planned, there happened to be a million school groups here. So they were actually sold out of tickets for this day, and they didn't sell the tickets at the park. So we got the undated tickets thinking that they are good for any day, but because you have to select them for a day and there weren't any spots for this day, they were basically useless. We paid for nothing. We went to guest services and sort of explained our situation. Eventually, through the kindness of their hearts, they let us into the park. So again, this was completely our fault. This was completely avoidable. Just something to keep in mind when you're buying tickets for this park. And yeah, the crowds wound up being massive, but because literally 95% of them were all school groups, by the time 4 o'clock rolled out, all of the crowds were gone and the park is dead now. It's actually quite nice. So that was Walibi Holland here in the Netherlands, and this was this was certainly an interesting day. Just like Toverland, started out pretty bad, but then just kept on gradually getting better and better throughout the day. This park has a phenomenal top 3. Lost Gravity is a really good, unique roller coaster. Goliath is that very accessible, hyper-style roller coaster, and then Untamed is just fantastic.
My favorite.
As I mentioned before, the park's aesthetics are kind of puzzling to me, but I mean, every single park in Europe has just been drop-dead gorgeous, and this park is definitely trying to establish its own unique identity, especially in a field oversaturated by beautiful parks. So yeah, I can understand why they're going for what they're going for. We had a fantastic day here, which is good because this is the end of the Europe trip. This was just an amazing road trip. We went to so many places. All of these parks were absolutely absolutely fantastic. It was a joy to visit it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Gotta also throw a thank you out to Airtime Monkey, Anthony, who spent the entire trip with me. He helped me plan it and helped along with so many key features. Go check out his Instagram. He posts lots of really, really great photos there. And then everyone else who we met along the trip, Ruben.
Such as me. Yeah.
Such as Ruben.
Hi.
Ruben, Brandon, Mark, everyone we came across. It's been just an amazing time. So yeah, that was this summer's adventure in Europe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to share the next adventure with you. We'll see which parks we're at. And until then, thank you so much for watching. Take care.
Take care. Doei.
Bye-bye.
Doei.